Everyone has a different idea of financial success, whether that's a dream home, a fancy car, or just never having to stress about money again. Whatever your dream is, the path to getting there is pretty much the same for everyone. And in this video, I'm going to give you a 4-step framework that you can use to actually get there yourself. And if you happen to be a gamer, then you're already more prepared for this journey than you think. So let's crack on with the video, shall we? Everyone has a dream that they'd like to accomplish, especially when it comes to finances. But most people never figure out how to get there. They waste years of their life doing it wrong, or they give up just before it clicks. Most people skip some of these steps and then they wonder why nothing ever works out. But it's actually a very simple 4-step blueprint that you could follow to become financially successful. And so by the end of this video, you're going to have a very crystal clear plan on exactly how you're going to take something you're passionate about and turn it into something that makes you a lot of money. My name is Tofu, and on this channel we use gaming as a lens for bigger ideas. And this is what happens when you think deeply about psychology, success, money, culture, and you also happen to love gaming. And if any of that sounds like a little bit of you, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel and hit that like button, and also let us know down below what you think of this video as we get into it, and I'd love to have you a part of the community. Now, before I could even teach you these 4 steps, none of that matters if you do not understand these 2 simple things. And I have to be very specific and very stern on the fact that you need to understand and internalize these 2 things. Otherwise, nothing you do will make sense and you will never be successful. The first thing you need to understand, and the most important thing, is that the money part comes late. And this is the reason why most people fail at becoming financially successful. And I need to address this directly with you right now. Otherwise, if you don't understand this, you might as well give up and go home now and just move on. And so the reason why I tell you to find something that you're passionate about and to be passionate about it is not feel good advice, because it's not about how you feel. Passion is what's going to keep you in that game long enough to reach the level to where things start to pay off and you actually get to be financially successful. And this is why gamers have an advantage to everyone else, because they understand how to grind and farm and do things over and over and over again, even when it looks pointless, up until the point that it suddenly isn't pointless. And if you do not understand and accept this, there is no hope for you. The second thing is that this entire machine that we're going to be talking about and how you build it is like a giant flywheel attached to the side of a house. This huge wheel, and your job is to make this wheel spin as fast as possible. And at the beginning, it's unbearable. It's so brutal because it takes so much effort and all your strength, and it barely moves. It just doesn't move no matter how hard you push it. But once this wheel starts spinning and it's gotten a few rotations and it starts to spin more and more and more, it takes less effort and it takes less of an impact for you to keep it spinning, and it becomes almost unstoppable. And so it's important that you feel the weight of this journey and understand the length of time that it will take to accumulate this momentum. However, the inevitability of the payoff is what makes this worth it, and you can be that person that persists. And if you watch this video and you pay attention and you listen and you implement, in 6 to 12 months, your life will have changed forever, and I can almost guarantee you that. If you've understood those 2 things and you've accepted it and you've taken it to heart, now we can actually talk about the actual 4 steps that you can take to becoming financially successful. This is a gamer's guide to becoming financially successful. The first step of the plan is to build an audience around your passion. So the core concept of this principle is that without an audience, you don't have any leverage. And what I mean by that is that you have no one to sell any products or services to, and you don't have a pitch that you can take to other brands to do business with them. Now, the kind of passion you need is, I better be able to kick down your door at 3 a.m. and have you wipe your eyes down and give me a 45-minute TED talk on the thing that you're passionate about. You need to be able to talk about this every single day for the rest of your life. If you are not that passionate, you are not going to last in this game, and you need to just give up and move on to something else, because it's not for you. Passion is not just a thing that's here to keep you in the game. You need that same passion to understand deeply exactly who it is that you're making content for and the audience that you're trying to build. That's what your passion also helps you with, because it is more important to build the right audience rather than the biggest audience. 25k followers of the exact perfect person that you need to be following you is so much better than a million random subscribers that just liked some of the content that you made. This isn't about building a brand or becoming an influencer. It's about creating a community of the right people. It goes without saying that in order to build an audience, you need to make content. But the reason we've landed on content creation is not for you to become an influencer or become a celebrity or none of that bullshit. It's because content creation is the most accessible starting point for everyone, because we all have a phone, we all have internet, and we can all hit record and create a valuable piece of content that the perfect person we need is going to enjoy every single day. And if you gamify this whole process, it becomes a thing of farming experience or farming items, repeating something over and over and over again for a delayed period of time. Gamers know how to do this shit. It just comes down to making a valuable, good piece of content every single day and making sure that you get better at making that piece of content. You learn and you grow the audience along with it. But growing an audience of the absolute most ideal person is more important than anything else, and you'll start to see why as we go through the motion, because all of these little things connect to one another and it builds this ecosystem of a machine that helps you become financially successful. The second step is to convert those followers into owned data. You need to understand that social media platforms are rented land. Any of these platforms could disappear tomorrow, and it is driven by algorithm and rules and regulations, and it works in very weird ways sometimes. What we need is direct contact with the people that follow us, the people that listen and trust what we do, whether that's on an emailing list, for example, or on Discord. It doesn't matter. We need to take them off the social platform and put them somewhere that we can communicate with them a lot faster. We do not use social media to sell our products or to promote. We use it to build an audience, to acquire as much goodwill as possible, and then we reserve the right to make that audience an offer. But it doesn't happen on social media. It is just simply a tool in the process. Now, many businesses go about it a different way. If you've ever seen, give us your email address and we'll give you 10% off your next order, that's what you call a lead magnet. It's offering them something in exchange for an email. Now, you could do the same thing too, depending on whatever your passion is. If there's a cool thing you could send them or make, or like an emailing course or whatever, you could have a lead magnet for yourself if you wanted to go down that route, but you could also just put everyone on a Discord and create an active community that you engage with. But it's important you understand the flow, that your content exists to push people into your ecosystem, and from that ecosystem comes everything else. We use social media to build goodwill. We don't sell on social media, and then once we have their data and we have them somewhere else, we have permission to make them an offer. This is why building the right audience matters. Now you can see why if it was just a bunch of random followers that came in from all corners of the world, it wouldn't be valuable, because we'd need the right type of person to sign up for this kind of a journey. And so your list and your data is only as valuable as the people that are on it, and that forms part of the second step. So we started off by building an audience, and then we took that audience and we turned them into valuable data. The third step is to sell. Now, the biggest problem that a lot of people face is that they don't know what to sell. I don't have a product, I don't have a service, I don't know what to do. But that's okay. You can still build an audience anyways. You don't have to have all that. There's tons of different ways to make money, and we'll go through it. But to answer your question, I don't know what to sell, it's very simple. If you have an audience, you ask them what they want to buy, and then you make it for them. It's the simplest solution that most businesses don't use at all, and they overcomplicate the process. We can just ask our audience what they want and then give it to them, and they'll pay us for it because they said they would. And now you can see at this point is when the money starts to become a part of the conversation, because you already have their trust and their permission to have this conversation with them, and they're okay with it. This is the payoff of all the goodwill that you've been building all this time. No matter how long it took you, it doesn't matter. You had to have gone through it. And there's multiple different ways you could reach out and interact with your community. But now that you have their data, you could send 1,000 people an email at the same time. You could send a message to everyone on your Discord. But whatever it is that they want, you make it and they'll pay for it. And that's one way that you could actually make money off of what you've built now. The second way is to use that audience as leverage for other brands. You could do brand deals where people will pay to advertise on your YouTube channel or your social medias or in your emailing list. It doesn't matter. You could sell advertising space in the assets that you have for example. Or you can approach a brand with a pitch and you can say, I have an audience of this size, this is the engagement I get, here's how many sales I made in my last campaign, these are all my statistics, blah 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 blah, I've sold X to Y people and I can do the same for you. This is where your passion and your knowledge starts to compound into some serious leverage here. Because again, think about your passion now. If you were passionate about watches, for example, you could go do this for other watch brands. And so now you're not just a marketing person, you are specifically a marketing person who works with watch brands in the watch industry. Now you've built a niche, you've built a corner that you own. Another way is to monetize your experience by speaking and consulting. Like again, if you were passionate about watches, you could go to a convention of all these different watch brands and offer to speak for free and talk about marketing, because all of these people are craftsmen. They worry every single day, day in and day out, about their product and making better watches and the actual thing that they do, and they're probably not experts in marketing at all, but you are. So there's another opportunity to get paid for your expertise and the knowledge that you've gained from building an audience and becoming reasonably successful yourself. And the thing is, people will pay more when there's an intersection of ideas. For example, people will pay someone if they're good at marketing, sure, but they'll pay more if this person is exceptionally good at marketing watch brands specifically, for example. That's where you become a rare combination, and that's why it's important to be so passionate about something, so you create that intersection where all three of these paths are actually helping you sell something about yourself. And that forms part of the third step. So you can see, grow your audience, extract the data, sell them, or use the leverage, create more opportunities for yourself. And then the fourth step is to scale what you've built and reinvest what you've made in order to remove yourself as the bottleneck. What that means is that now what you've built here in your ecosystem is that content is your engine, for example. Without that, there is no success. Everything stops, and you have to keep that momentum going. So you can pay someone to learn your editing style and replicate that for you, so that gets taken off your hands. And so that is the third step, and you can see how all of this starts working together. You start by building an audience, you then turn that audience into data, and then you use that data to create multiple opportunities for yourself. And that allows you to move into the fourth step, which is to scale what you have built and to establish and sustain the machine that you've built as well. And so if you follow these steps, then at this point, content is the engine of this machine. Without your content, everything in the stream stops. So for example, you could get someone to learn your editing style and you can pay them to edit for you. So now you don't have to do the editing. You've won back more of your hours. So now you can be more strategic about how you move certain needles. Maybe you can do more gigs while still producing more content. You can do other things at the same time regardless, but you need to remove yourself as the bottleneck in order to be able to do more and to compound all of your wealth onto one another, because this machine has to run whether you are at the desk or not. And that comes later on, but if you're in this position, it's a really good position to be in, because it means that your time is valuable, and with the time that you have, you can reinvest that into your business, into your opportunities, and you can make more opportunities, take on more work, and just create a bigger and bigger machine and iterate and perfect what you have. And so that is your plan. It's very simple in idea, but the hard part, like we talked about, is the consistency and the passion to stay in it every single day. You need to have that, and it has to be there, but it will work, and your results are absolutely guaranteed. This is a game you can win. You just have to decide that you want to be the person who plays it longer than everyone else. Everything in this video, the length of this video, however long this takes me to explain, is how long it will take you to invest in changing your own life forever. Because if you do this for 6 to 12 months and you stay consistent, it is unreasonable for you to not be successful. And for all my gamers out there, you can beat all these motherfuckers. You can do it yourself. You know how this stuff works because you've already done things for thousands and thousands of hours in video games. Now you just have to do it in real life for a little bit longer. But you can win this game. You keep playing, you keep farming, and those loot drops eventually become bigger and bigger and bigger, and it becomes more amazing. If you want to stay in the loop and talk talk about more cool ideas like this, more gaming things, then it would really mean a lot to me if you head on over down to the description and sign up for the lobby, which is my emailing list. And you can see now how all of these things make sense, huh? And over there, I'm gonna send you a bunch of emails, and we're gonna do some really cool stuff when there's enough people on there. But it would really make me feel good to have you as a part of the journey. So if you would be so kind as to consider doing that for me, I would absolutely love it. And we'll see you in the next video. Take care.